Hello again, Reggie Moon with Eclipse USA Realty. If you ever have a question on this or any video, call me anytime directly. The number is 404-ECLIPSE. Today we're talking about the appraisal contingency. This contingency protects both the buyer and the seller. It is one of the 3 standard contingencies in most real estate contracts. Here's how the appraisal contingency works. Let's say you have a contract price for $200,000. The appraisal contingency will say that the house must appraise for at or above $200,000. In this example, let's say the house appraises for $180,000. This is how it protects the buyer. Okay, remember I said it protects both sides. So the buyer says, okay, I will give you $200,000 for the house, but it must appraise for at or above $200,000. In this example, it appraised for $180,000. The buyer does not have to bring the difference. The seller cannot say, listen, I understand it only appraised for $180,000, but you said you'd give me $200,000. Right. The buyer did agree to give you $200,000 if it appraised for $200,000. But in this example, we missed it by $20,000. So the buyer does not have to make up the difference. That's how it protects the buyer. This is how it protects the seller. In this same example, it appraised for $20,000 less than the contract price. That doesn't mean the seller has to take a hit. That doesn't mean the seller has to sell the property for $180,000. He's protected. There's an appraisal contingency. So both sides are protected. The buyer doesn't have to make up the difference, nor does the seller have to, reduce the sell price by that same amount in order to make it right. Here's the other thing few people think about. What if it appraised for $210,000? What happens then? In that example, the buyer is about to close on a house. He's paying $200,000 for it, and the bank and the appraisers say, wow, you got $10,000 equity. So he's about to buy a $210,000 house for $200,000. The seller cannot come back and say, no, I'm not selling it for $200,000. I'm only selling it now, or now I've decided to increase the price to $210,000. That is not how it works, because the appraisal contingency says it has to appraise for at or above. So if it appraises for above, that doesn't mean that's what you have to pay for it as the buyer. So that's how an appraisal contingency works. Call me anytime. Call me directly. 404-ECLIPSE. Thanks.
Call or click 404